evening and welcome to News Hour on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. I am Phoebian Sweel. Coming up in this bulletin of news, President Anis Barika Umar says the nation has once more been gripped by grief by the disaster. Southern Province Women's Network pre-launched. Paramount Chiefs in Kenema District present Deputy Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Momo Vandi, to the people of Kenema District. All these and more coming up in this bulletin of News Hour. This is News Hour on SLBC. Over 300 people have been killed by a landslide and flooding following the heavy downpour in Freetown. Regent Village, Kamayama, Kaningo and Mountain Cut are among areas affected by the disaster. This is the worst environmental disaster Sierra Leone has ever experienced. The President Anis Barika Umar said that the nation has once more been gripped by grief in this address to the nation.
Thank you very much for tuning into the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. In the early hours of Monday, 14th August 2017, disaster struck. Many people died. Investigations are still going on as to the cause of the incident. It is in that view that the First Gentleman of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Dr. Anis Barika Umar, will address the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency the President.
Fellow Sierra Leoneans, our nation has once again been gripped by grief. Many of our compatriots have lost their lives. Many more have been gravely injured, and billions of leones worth of property destroyed in the flooding and landslides that have swept across some parts of our city. I am very disturbed by this national tragedy, and with a heavy heart, let me extend profound condolences to the bereaved families. This is not a tragedy for you alone. It is a tragedy for every Sierra Leonean, because the people who have perished in this disaster are our compatriots. Every family, every single ethnic group, every single region is either directly or indirectly affected by this disaster. Fellow Sierra Leoneans, this tragedy of great magnitude has once again challenged us to come together, to stand by each other, and to help one another. We therefore salute the bravery of our police, the army, our national fire services, the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, and the Office of the National Security, who are in the front line of these rescue efforts. We also applaud the enduring support of the Red Cross, civil society, the media, and the selflessness of our youths for the great compassion and patriotism you have all demonstrated during this very trying time. Let me assure you that my government is fully engaged on this situation, and in collaboration with our development partners, we have already established an emergency response center at Regent to coordinate our response and to provide relief to the survivors. We have also established registration centers in various locations across the capital where our affected compatriots will be registered. In the meantime, let me urge everyone to remain calm and to avoid disaster-prone areas while we continue to address this grave emergency. I thank you for your attention, and God bless Sierra Leone.
President Hannes Baikoma there addressing the nation in regard to the flooding and landslide disaster that occurred in Freetown. Earlier, President Koma visited Regent, one of the communities hit hard by the flood disaster that has claimed many lives from that community. We bring you highlights.
Let's go.
Yeah. I know it's in the area. I want to clear for you. I really want to clear for you a bit. I do it, I'll give you a space.
It's only the protect. You have to tell them that they could show no. Hold on. Come on. Stop for you. Put your umbrella down. Take those by your right. Don't say by your right. I don't get that. No. Yes, sir.
No, come before. Yes. Okay.
No go beyond. Madam, please. The big son.
No, they allow you.
Okay, doctor. Doctor, this is another. Before you I think doctor. No.
People enjoy more so. Yeah, more houses. No, not ordinary. Tremor, yeah. The only thing that goes and the other thing, the more cops on the whole then go take the excavator. Go somebody there. The one way Go bien. Hey. Beyond the other, no dedicator. No, In the brief one, you can. So you can pop, they can take an interview, maybe Please step aside. Please step aside. Very, very You go feel important and anything else. The gap, keep moving. Wait! Madam, wait! Wait! Madam, patient! Patient! Let's go. Keep moving. Yeah.
Yes. So what we've done is to have this thing. Resources, so as farm, the far for the West Coast, have 11 teams, 20 different vaccines. So whatever they use, because they have the local knowledge as well. In terms of logistics, stretchers, shovels, pickups, 200 megaphones, ropes, when this complete, and body bags. We identified a hole, just so know that we have that's what they all together. Yes, sir.
So you will have somebody to stay here, but will require you and you to an emergency meeting right now. It's not only this sport, but the other sports. So let us coordinate all of these sports almost immediately. Right? And let us inform the public. Quick government.
Yeah, information. No,
okay, let's go and finalize it.
Okay, keep moving.
Yes, let's go back to the
Let's go. So we are excuse me. Open up, please.
Well, as the death toll continues to rise, the government has established emergency response centers at some of these communities in the western area affected by the disaster. Abubakar Bangoa brings us details now with the emergency response centers.
The heavy downpour this morning in Freetown affected every part as the death toll continued to rise. Recent reports indicate that over 300 dead bodies have been discovered so far and presently at the Connaught mortuary. One such a place is Kanningo via Sheriff Drive at Lumley in the west end of Freetown. Dead bodies are being collected on the stream that passes through the community by youths who volunteered themselves.
Okay, this is the body, the pull over under, the body.
Houses submerged in affected areas. At Kanningo, the entire area is badly affected. This is the worst disaster to have happened. Floodwaters entered people's homes, business places, and offices. The only bridge that connects both communities collapsed. No road access, drinking water contaminated. Search and rescue operations have been mounted. Youths have been removing dead bodies from the stream. Thomas Green, a resident, explained that the rain started pouring at about 3 a.m. on Monday and saw dead bodies floating on the stream. About 14 bodies, most of them children.
Around then 2:30 to 3 o'clock, we got a massive rain because the bridge broke and some of the community people they lost their life at the water. Then I make all time this morning now, we try to settle things out, we begin to put somebody there. And this would they give advice to the community leaders then. They made us stop from the new houses near water. We can only cause a mass destruction. For now, we don't get up to put anybody, we're not able to identify their faces. Taking them more involved.
However, President Ernest Bai Koroma, Vice President Dr. Victor Bokarifo, and other government officials made a visit to affected areas to see the level of destruction caused by the deluge. In a press release issued, government, in collaboration with development partners, is undertaking emergency services to the affected people. Whilst government extends profound condolence to the bereaved families, an emergency response center has already been established at Regent. In addition, registration centers have also been established at Regents, Lumley, Central, and Ross Road police stations for affected people to register for relocation to a safer area and to register at the nearest center. According to the release, government will provide regular updates as events unfold and encourage the public to stay calm and to call 119 or 117 for any emergency. Sierra Leone was classed as the third riskiest country in terms of climate change after Bangladesh and Guinea-Bissau. SLBC News, Abubakar Bangura, Freetown.
Still with the flooding and landslide disaster that occurred in Freetown, I paid a visit to Motome community back of Guma region, where most of the damage was done, and caught up with some residents and government officials there.
I am Usman Doya Batulo Kokofele.
Okay.
I'm staying at Regent, SS Camp. Fibian, to be realistic with you, it is beyond explanation. And I would not even call this a flooding. It is more than flooding, whether landslide or sea. As I speak to you, we have got a lot of people, corpses, dead people, currently as I speak. And some others also are dead, but they are nowhere to be found because they have been buried because of the disaster that took place. So they are not at the surface. So what I have told people, since it is still raining and we are still prone to the disaster that happened, let us avoid the scene and let us see how best we take the corpses that are on the surface of the soil, because those that are under, we haven't seen them. But really, I can't tell you the number.
How many people have you been able to rescue?
It's not one household. So many households. So many households. So many. I can't give you the actual number because it is beyond explanation. There are so many. I must tell you that.
Thank you very much for your time. We'll get further interview later on as everything progresses.
I'm willing and ready to go.
So this is the area right now. This is just the top of it. As you can see up that hill there, that's the place where the landslide occurred. So the hill you see up there actually cut and fell onto the people at the bottom of the hill. So according to unconfirmed reports right now, over 100 households were covered with by the landslide today, and they've not been able to rescue anyone. All the people they are finding are dead, so it's just corpses. No one that's still alive. So they're still trying to locate more people, and as you can see, it's chaotic here. People are crying. It's just a devastating scene. You're a resident of this community. Can you please explain to us what you recalled that really happened here today?
Due to the downfall of rain this morning, which started from 11 o'clock p.m. onto this morning, the Moteme community situated at back of Guma Gate Highway. The landslide took place, which left over 100 houses covered, and residents over 500 people. We cannot find them. Only 10 dead bodies have been found, and found not alive but dead. Thousands of properties were destroyed. Families were crying. It's really devastating. You can only cry for a single body, but the entire family, you cannot cry for them. It's really sympathetic. I'm a victim of it. My own uncle and his family, got dead, and just still we cannot see them.
Thank you very much. Now arriving at the scene is the Vice President to sympathize with the people who are victims here at the community. And for today, we've seen several dignitaries arriving here to sympathize with the families who are victims. And here is the Vice President coming down to the scene himself to sympathize. This is how bad the disaster is here. It's a tough scene here, and we've seen several of these dignitaries coming down. Some of the victims shaking hands with the Vice President.
You go realize the matter and the weight of it is simple. We just have to treat people. We cannot allow people to be everywhere and anywhere. I have been saying this for months, years, to the Protection Agency and all those involved. We've had meetings at national security level. That Sierra Leone is the third most prone country in the world for natural disaster. We are third in the entire world. I'm not surprised. It's just sad. I'm told that maybe over 1,000 people have lost their lives.
We've seen sensitization messages going across to people about building in certain parts of the country and those who are living there, to evacuate. But we don't see that happening. And yet, when such things happen, the repercussion is very devastating. And the government takes part of the blame. So now that these things continue to happen, what's going to be the next step of the government to make sure that people who live in some of these areas who are not supposed to be there evacuate?
We have to move them. I mean, you're spot on. You're spot on. We have to move them. There's no two way to it. We have to move people from these prone areas. We have to move them. If not, people are just going to lose their lives. You can imagine talking about 1,000 people.
What's going to happen to some of the survivors now?
Well,
is that going to be like a government compensation or anything?
Well, I wouldn't go into that now. We're planning a meeting as soon as I finish this interview. Called the Office of National Security, SLP, ASLAF, Ministry of Health, WHO, ISAT, and also we're going to have a command center here, and then plan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Concept. We won't take much of your time, but we'll get follow-up interviews and see how things go. Thank you. It is estimated that about 1,000 people are still missing. According to reports we've gathered from the mortuary, the Connaught Hospital mortuary, over 200 unidentified corpses have been sent there. And they're calling on citizens who haven't seen their relatives or loved ones to go to the Connaught Hospital mortuary and try to identify some of the corpses.
Now, as part of efforts to assist the landslide and flood victims, the First Lady, Sia Nyamakoma, is among the first people to provide relief. The First Lady's rapid emergency response in the form of medical supplies was distributed to the Connaught Hospital and Lumley Health Centre. Now we bring you highlights.
Within the Connaught side, they don't bring most of the people were affected by the flooding and the mudslide today will take place in the country, in Freetown. And today we're there also because the First Lady of the land, Mrs. Sia Nyamakoma, don't send medical supplies and we call emergency kits them, rapid response emergency kits them to the authorities and the officials there, so the Connaught Hospital, for make them go for help in whatever way they can. Then people there so we don't become affected by this flooding. And this is not just an emergency thing we don't happen. And the First Lady say if we send more members in Connaught Hospital for help them. What we done now so we go also in a Lumley Hospital, beside the First Lady don't ask for make we go deliver some more drugs to the people affected by this flooding.
On behalf of Office of First Lady, we would like to hand over some immediate response. We get gloves, we get amlodipine, we get dressing spray, we get gloves, amoxicillin, and amoxicillin, and other medical things. There are also, we know, say, show a heartfelt condolence to families them where they don't lost their life, and the one them where wound, they wish them speedy recovery. And to honor the health workers them where they give service, it does we heart una and they express in appreciation and encourage una. Say this is a national disaster and encourage una for work at una level best for let una give the humanitarian assistance with you citizens. On behalf of the First Lady and the office, we express our appreciation and we say hush to all man. It's not about that in family die, it's not hush to all salon people. And let una do my own best. Use this as a donation for supporting our work.
On behalf of the management, we tell the First Lady plenty thank you. You know, saying I had always for help, and we're not surprised they this come. So we say plenty thank you. We say not glad for kind yaba. We not say hospital no they get yaba, but this kind yaba is very pathetic. We self feel out. So we say we will do another message, express thanks, and they say they want the way still they will not die. It's like God make them recover, and this help. We hope say they will benefit out of it and make God make the one that we don't go, let them source their.
This is News Hour, the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. We're taking a quick break and we'll be back with the rest of the stories. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is News Hour on SLBC. Now, the Connaught mortuary staff have been very busy today collecting corpses from different parts of the country. At the entrance of the mortuary were seen people who were some victims of the disaster and others just there to sympathize and empathize with their family members and loved ones. Anne-Marie Jallo was there at the scene to hear the views of the people.
At the Connaught mortuary, all you hear is continuous wailing by family members who are there to check for their loved ones. The expectation of these people present outside the mortuary gate is mixed with high hopes of not getting negative reports from the authorities. Inside the mortuary, the attendants are seen to be very busy trying to deal with the present reality. As challenging as the situation has been, they are not too equipped to deal with the present situation on the ground. But with the help of other security personnel, they are doing their best to be on top of the situation. When asked for an update, the pathologist attached to the Connaught Hospital, Dr. Owis Kuruma, had this to say.
We did for phase 1, we receive. As soon as see them, they come. Now that's what we do. As they come, we pack them. Then later, we rest, and then we can able to we walk inside.
Now, this whole incident, it come as a surprise to everybody in the country. How can they manage the situation?
Now you see, so they do. Well, it don't matter we, but me and my they laugh always. So you know, it's no emotional. So volunteers, they can. We volunteers, they are not plenty. And they must help me in a national disaster. For helping. It's not easy. You don't do here for quite a long time. Sure. You see how we do it. You see, so it's not easy at all. Emotionally, it's not easy. Physically, it's not easy. I will
get the capacity to handle the whole situation.
You get the human resource. Today we go try. We will try.
How much people you get with you? Because we see like Dr. Russell said.
No, colleagues colleagues then. They come for sympathize with me, give me all the support now.
Other medical practitioners, Dr. Jibril Fatluddin and Dr. Russell, are part of the medical team giving support to what seemed to be very chaotic at the mortuary.
So we don't talk, the number, most of the ones we get narcosis. The one we now patients about 32 were admitted. And they get all the necessary treatment.
So now just support I can give to Dr. Ruiz?
But I will part of the team. Now one of the head of the hospital, so I just don't represent everywhere.
Another survivor from the Pentagon area back of Kamayama, Momo Mansare, who happens to be the only survivor out of a family of 23, shares his ordeal with SLBC.
Another people there were 23. Like how much people the way you know? 22. So you don't can check for them now. Mortuary, you don't see any one of them? They don't get a chance.
Amongst onlookers were also relatives who are in desperate need of information about loved ones who reside in the affected areas. Rugiatu Kuyate is eagerly waiting for good news about relatives she can't seem to get in touch with at the moment. As it is, the country is still in shock with the unfortunate situation that greeted citizens who got caught in this tragedy. For SLBC TV News, Anne-Marie Jallo reporting.
You've been watching News Hour on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. And to end the news, the main points again. President Hannes Baikoma says the nation has once more been gripped by grief by the disaster. Southern Province Women's Network relaunched. And Paramount Chiefs in Kenema District present Deputy Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Momo Vandi, to the people of Kenema District. I have been Phoebe Swiel on behalf of my news editor, Ibrahim Mansari. Thank you very much for your attention. And for more about our programs, do visit our YouTube and Facebook pages. Have a good evening. Cheers.